Avoiding yelling and using gentle persuasion with my children is something that I have deeply studied and practiced. I am passionate about sharing what I have learned because it makes all the difference in the success of parenting. Once at a neighborhood meeting, I heard some mothers making light of yelling at their kids. One mom said, "Sorry if you hear me yelling at my kids from across the street, but believe me, they deserve it." The reply from the other mom was, "Haha, you probably hear me yelling too." Other moms started making fun of how much they yell at their kids as well. So that exchange really hurt my heart. It actually made me go home and cry. Once you have really committed your soul to seeing how precious our children are, it hurts to think of them being yelled at, put down, and criticized. I came home from that meeting and actually wrote down these lyrics to a song. I'm gonna play some of the song for you at the end of the video. I always have the choice to be gentle and to praise, or to find fault and complain. I show my heart by the things I say. May the words I speak be filled with kindness. May my manner of speech be cheerful and clean. May my voice be a light that lifts people higher. May I bring hope and love and trust. May I bring peace by the way I speak. Now, if you find yourself yelling or putting down your children, you are in the same boat of most parents. I want to read this information from an article that I have linked below. Almost every parent yells at their child eventually, no matter how hard they try to stay calm. The best, most well-intentioned parents lose it from time to time. When those moments are uncommon, they probably won't leave lasting damage to your relationship with your child, especially if you apologize for overreacting. But children who are constantly yelled at by their parents are more likely to develop behavioral problems, low self-esteem, and depression. And I will add my observation, yelling at your children is one of the least effective ways to change their behavior. Some people feel that yelling at their children is the only way to get through to them. It might make your child do what you want them to do in that moment, but it's only because they feel scared or threatened. And we don't really have any true influence over a child if they only do what we ask because they are scared. Also, children that are yelled at consistently can tend to tune out, listen less, and start responding more aggressively or defiantly. So I hope you'll find this video helpful and maybe even life-changing. But one thing I hope you will take from this video is to not joke around about how much you yell at your kids. It should be something that pierces your heart and moves you to the beautiful, sweet opportunity of repentance. First, I'll just tell you about my experience. I have a lot of things to work on as a parent, as we all do, but not yelling at my kids is really important to me. So I chose long ago to sing instead of yell when I am frustrated. For example, I have sung these words to the tune of "Mary Had a Little Lamb" instead of yelling. Please don't slam the door again, the door again, the door again. Please don't slam the door again. It makes me very sad. I have also sung instead of yelled, I asked you to do your math more than once, more than once. I asked you to do your math and yet it is not done. You should try it too, even if you are not a singer, or I have some other suggestions in this video. So do my kids like it when I sing? Not always, but not only does it calm me down, it diffuses the situation. My children often smile at me and shake their heads like I am so goofy and go off to do whatever I ask them to do. However, it does not always calm them down, and sometimes it really makes them mad. Sometimes they respond with, I hate it when you sing like that. And then I just sing, would you rather have me yell or sing, yell or sing, yell or sing? If you could choose just one thing, would it be to yell or sing? One of my children told me once, oh, don't tell other parents to sing when they are mad. I asked the child, if a parent yells at their children, would you rather have them sing like me or yell? And with serious eyes, my child replied to me, yes, you are right. You should tell them to sing. Maybe this works so well for me because I'm a singer. So find the thing that you do instead of yelling. You could make up I'm so angry dance or a clapping routine. For example, 2 claps on the table, 2 claps with hands, 1 clap on the table, and 2 snaps, and repeat until anger subsides. Just try to do a little dance or clapping routine and remain angry. One of our senior directors said, I use a robot voice instead of yelling. I say, I'm a robot, robot says to put on your shoes in the closet, beep, beep, bop. You can also simply choose to leave the room. Or every time you feel you are going to yell, you could close your eyes and say a little prayer, or you could memorize and recite a poem like this one. I actually wrote it when I had a really hard baby, and I would repeat it aloud all the time, and it kept me patient. There's a child in my house, how blessed could I be? There's a child in my house, I'll act as if God is next to me. Repeat until anger subsides. Or you could simply try, walk away, yelling is not the right way, yelling is wrong, I don't feel like singing a song, but I'll walk away. Another mother once told me, when I had a household of littles and one who screamed for 12 hours a day, I wrote the word nurture on a piece of paper and kept it in my pocket. When I felt like I was going to burst, I'd pull out the paper and read that word. Eventually, I just pictured the word nurture in my mind. I still do when I'm stressed with the kids. So what are you going to do instead of yelling? If you don't decide beforehand, the emotions that cause the yelling will overtake you. So come up with a plan. What will you do instead of yelling every time? Doing that over and over and over will make that become the habit, not yelling. And you will slip up and you will not be perfect, but if you persist, you will see change. It's wonderful to have your children see you using techniques to control your anger, and even if they don't always work, to change your child's behavior. Your child might roll their eyes and say, Mom's doing her clapping routine again. Nevertheless, you are modeling for them, not that you are perfect, but that you are intentionally using techniques and tools to become better, and they will learn so much from that example and probably model it one day. And I know your children will secretly love you for your efforts and draw closer to you because of them. If you have a habit of yelling, consider sitting down with your children for a family meeting. Explain to them that you have gotten into a bad habit of yelling and that it is not okay because your children are precious to you. Ask for their forgiveness. Explain that you are going to be working on breaking the habit, and even tell them the techniques you're going to try. Being honest with your children about your shortcomings and talking to them about ways you are trying to improve and what you are learning is a beautiful and very powerful way to teach your children. One thing that can really help break the habit of yelling is the idea that you do not have to discipline or teach your children right at that moment unless they are in immediate danger. You are likely yelling because they did something wrong or you want them to do something. But it's okay to just leave and not correct the behavior or to not have them do what you want them to do. It is better that your child leave his math assignment undone for the time being than yelling at them to get it done. It is better that your child miss soccer practice than yelling at them to get in the car right at that moment. The last thing I want to say is it can be really helpful to get to the root of why you yell. It's just a learned habit for some people because that's the way they grew up. Habits can be broken with intentional effort, not just desiring to change, but intentional planning of how you will change. Make a plan, see what works, adjust as needed. Ask God's forgiveness. He is the changer of hearts. If you seek help, He will show you the way to change and lead you along. Another reason you might yell could be because you are really unhappy with your own life or you are not spiritually nourished. I truly believe that impatience with other people is a sign of spiritual undernourishment. It is also so important to take time each day to connect with God and nature because it helps nourish and calm our souls, giving us the emotional resiliency to show up in new ways when we're dealing with challenging situations. Exercising can also really help us reduce stress. Your committed journey to stop yelling will fundamentally change your own life. You will likely never be perfect and have times you still yell, but it is possible to make it the exception. I will leave with a portion of this song that I wrote while thinking about the precious children and people around me.
My words hold the power to lift up and to save, or to put down and degrade. I am shaped by the things I say. May the words I speak be filled with kindness. May my manner of speech be cheerful and clean. May my voice be a light that gives people hope.